Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS. Fans, brews, and Broncos news. What's up, Broncos Country? Welcome to another edition of Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS, where we are sitting here flying high over to London. Well, the Broncos are anyway. Tell you who's not flying high, the Eagles. And we are going to talk about the Tweety Birds out in Philadelphia and this last week's game, guys, as the Broncos took down the Eagles 21-17 with a major comeback in the fourth quarter. Just absolutely beautiful to see. And then halfway through the show, we will transition officially over to week 6 as we start to prep for the Jets. So let's wrap up week 5. We got David, we got Spotty, we got all of you guys in the comment section. Post your comments, post your questions. Let's hear what you guys have to say. And make sure, if you haven't done so already, grab a drink, grab a bourbon, whatever it is. Kick back, relax. Make sure you're drinking responsibly, though. But let's have some fun with some Broncos talk. David, captain of Team Puffball. Sir, how are you doing, buddy?
Good. Anybody who saw me on the emergency post-game show on Sunday afternoon saw me without my hat on, and I was just kind of letting my hair loose. But as you guys can see, proper headgear tonight. We found a hat. We're moving in. New digs. We're getting slowly unpacked, so we've got a hat again, and all's right in the world. And most importantly, we're coming into a Victory Tuesday show, which is always
Victory
awesome.
Tuesday. For sure. And then we got Spotty. Spotty, you're looking dapper as always, my man. How you doing?
The universe that was like, you know what, Scottsville, how can we make your day even better? That night, my Bonito jersey happened to come in. Perfect timing, perfect feeling. This whiskey tastes a little better today than normal. I think it just brightens up a whole entire week after a incredible win, for sure.
For sure. Well, let's start breaking that down. Huge win for a number of reasons. The last time the Broncos won in Philadelphia, John Elway was the quarterback. The last time the Eagles lost in Philadelphia was September of last year. In fact, only 2 teams have beaten the Eagles since September, and the Broncos are one of them. In the last 286 days now, only one team has beat the Eagles. It's the Broncos. And Broncos not only had a short week playing on Monday, but they traveled out to the East Coast, played in the early time slot against the reigning Super Bowl champs. I mean, the cards were stacked against the Broncos here, and it looked like it was all said and done once the score was 17-3, but we saw nothing but poise and just an unbelievable will to not give up on the Broncos sideline there. And here we are sitting at 3-2, looking at the schedule ahead of us, looking very Broncos friendly. But guys, I mean, what are some of the takeaways from the game that you saw that there's still things to work on, right? We can talk about those, but just in general, what you guys see, David?
I mean, what I saw was, you said resilient and gritty, I think, are the perfect words to describe it. It's just, it takes a certain kind of special resilience not to give up when you are down. Sorry, guys. Anyway, when you're down that much, you've got to keep in mind that you are still in a football game. You've still got a chance no matter what the score is and no matter what the situation is. And the Broncos kept that in mind. It's really incredible. It's really impressive to see from a team that probably would have folded in this situation a lot of times over the last few years.
Agreed. And yes, Sean, the puff is out. But Spotty, what you got, man?
Yeah, can you highlight Keith's comment? Actually, that just popped up.
Here it is. Here it is.
This is what I have to say about this. Okay, the Broncos did not play a perfect game. I believe the conversation from all of us was that if the Broncos want to beat the Eagles, that they have to play perfect, if not damn near perfect, and they did not do that, which may actually be a more shining kind of thing for us. If we can't play up to where we should be for 4 quarters and we can still beat the Eagles, I'm telling you, there are probably with the rest of our schedule, I believe that we could potentially beat everyone else on the rest of our schedule. I said it last week that I think the Eagles are the toughest team on the schedule for the next for probably all year, and we didn't play well to even beat them. So if we can clean up these things that we're shooting ourselves in the foot on every other drive, man, what can this team really be capable of?
Yeah. And Sean, I mean, it was a crazy stat. I mean, first off, I don't know how these stats guys that work as part of the NFL production crew do this. I mean, they have to dig through some crazy, ridiculous stats and to even think about, hey, can we pull a stat for this? And then to go out and do it. Like, I would have never have thought, hey, when's the last time the Broncos were like, I didn't care to know that. But look, when I saw that they were 1-112, I was like, okay, like, I think David and I were both in the same boat. Like, even at 17-10, I was still pretty dead inside. I was just like, we're not supposed to win anyway. Let's see what happens. Like, cool, at least they got a touchdown, right? But then here we are. Sean, you're right. We're now 2-112. And that just really showcases how rare of a situation this was to also be in just a very tough environment against the reigning Super Bowl champs. And you can say what you want about them in terms of them regressing this year, right? With some of the coaching staff changes they've made and some of the ways they're playing and everything, but they're still a chance. They're still the champs, right? They were 4-0, but we found a way to do it.
Is that one other game? Was it the Broncos Chargers where we came back in the second half to beat the Chargers? What was it? We were down like 24.
Yeah. Wasn't that a Manning game?
Yeah. When it was Manning, it makes me think that that's the other game, which that was a ridiculous comeback.
I just don't know if we were down 14 going into the fourth. I think that was a whole second half comeback. Yeah. Crazy stuff, guys. Team David's puffball did explode, which was why it wasn't on the immediate post-game reaction show there we did. But it's back now. A few bad calls in the beginning of the season kind of paid off a bit. We came out with the dub. Totally agreed, Sean. Glad to see you here. Let's see. Sean says, wonder if the other one was Payton against the Chargers. You just said that. Yep, exactly. Spot on. Sean's on the same page here. Paula, how you doing? We got Anthony in here as well. You guys are fantastic. On the Jets, we will definitely talk about that here soon. But while we want to sit here and talk about all the great things that we saw from the Broncos, and there's more to talk about for sure, what were some of the concerning areas you guys saw from the Broncos? There's a lot, right? And so this isn't a game we walk away from saying, cool, we figured it out. We're done. We don't have to keep improving, right? What you got, Spotty?
9 for 121. That is the amount of penalties. I don't understand. We have to be somewhere in the top 5 when it comes to called penalties. I don't know exactly, what stat analysts that we need to look at, but the Broncos have to be somewhere, if not in the top 5, at least in the top 8 when it comes to penalties. And yes, if there's any Eagles fans that are out there that are watching us, yes, there were some bad calls that were not called for you guys, but also the exact same way around. I feel like the Broncos had 2 weeks in a row of some of the worst refereeing out there. Maybe is it just me? Does anybody else feel like the Bengals game and this game? Lord have mercy, the refs were bad.
Yeah, for sure. And another game where you're hoping for a little more consistency from start to finish, especially on offense from the team, and you just didn't get it. Now there's a lot of mitigating factors to that. And we talked about most of them, the 11 a.m. start, you're on the road, Super Bowl champions, whatever.
I just wish the offense had been able to get a little bit going a little bit more quickly. And it's just these early misses that you're seeing completely stall things out for like quarters at a time. Like what would I would love to see the trajectory of the first quarter if Bo Nix and Courtland Sutton had hit on that deep route down the sideline on that first drive. There's just those plays dotted in there. The missed touchdown to Trent Sherfield when Sherfield had a step. The Bo Nix, those are the kind of plays that if the Broncos can hit with like 40% more consistency, because they're getting there sometimes. They are getting there. That 3rd down and 15 conversion that Bo Nix hit.
Freaking beautiful.
Absolutely great ball. There was the whole shot last week against Cincinnati. We're making some of these plays. It is happening a little bit more and more as the season has gone along, I think. But yeah, just a little bit more consistency there, I think, would take this offense to even one more level, so that we're not talking about 17-point fourth quarter comebacks anymore.
Right, and we can't expect them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, that was a one-time thing. The next time we see that is going to be years from now. Who knows? Look, it's a 2-112 record for it's kind of comebacks for the Broncos for a reason. But we can, the refs, you're right, very sketchy calls. And look, we won against the Bengals, right? But there were still some calls that even I went back and looked at some of the replays and stuff, and I was like, how did they not call that? They're like, this should have been a penalty. Why not? It is funny to hear Eagles fans complain to us, Broncos fans, about reffing calls. I'm like, dude, you don't know who you're talking to.
You're freaking 4-0.
Yeah.
Drive your river. You're 4-1 now.
Get out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
You're 4-0, and last week in a game that you won, you didn't throw a pass in the second half. This week you didn't run I think you had one run in the second half instead, and you lost a game. Don't come crying to us about the refs. Talk to your coaching staff, man.
Yeah, exactly. But then to David's other point, I really think, because doing the halftime show, trying to figure out in real quick time what the difference was between the Eagles and the Broncos in the first half. I think it was really kind of boiling down to one team was doing the little things right. One team was connecting on those long passes, right? And that was the Eagles. It wasn't to say that the Broncos were necessarily playing bad. It's just they weren't making the most of the opportunities they had. They, all those drops and missed passes in the first half. All those situations where it's like, man, if you just connected on 40% of those, like the game would have been so different in the second half. It wouldn't have been 17-3. It would have been very tied and very close throughout the entire thing. And I mean, who knows how it would have been in that case. But, once you guys do see these passes starting to connect, this is a team I just don't know how this offense is going to be stopped. Look, they haven't given up on faith in Bo Nix. They keep trying these long passes, right? And it's not to say that he's off. He is so close. He is like not even a foot away out of reaching distance from some of these wide receivers. Now, some of them I wish would maybe try to extend out just a little more, right? Because it's right there. But I get real time and everything. So it's almost like we can't say Bo Nix isn't doing well. Like he's delivering the ball. It's just a combination of just being outside the fingertips or being dropped. So the offense is close.
Yeah. I've got so much I feel I want to say, but I want to highlight this comment right here to 2 points. 2 points. So Riley again is still getting he's getting a lot of hate for some of the plays that he has, but let's be honest. Yeah, so Devonta Smith ended up having about 100 yards receiving in there. A lot of that still wasn't on Riley. There was a lot of over the middle passes that Devonta Smith, there's supposed to be communication. Whoever's in the middle is supposed to run with him until it gets to the other side, yada, yada. Riley is still playing at a very high clip, which I want David to talk about the numbers when it comes to that. So I'm going to move away and let him talk about that. But I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. Alex Singleton is not that guy. I like the guy. He is gritty. He is tough. He broke his hand. He's playing. He 14 tackles on a torn ACL. The guy is an absolute monster. The man is also the probably glaring hole on the Denver Broncos defense in coverage and so many blown tackles, man. Like, I don't understand. People even forget with all the crazy things that he's done and like him playing through injury. He was one of the top 3 or 4 guys in missed tackle percentage last year when he was healthy. And it's starting to show again. Even if Greenlaw comes back, someone has to play on the other side of him in that particular game. And I'm going to have to say this again. Alex Singleton, I like you as a guy. I like you as a player. There's no way that he's on this team next year.
If the season ended today, he would not be getting a contract extension. In fact, at this point, I don't see what he could do, But David, take it away, man.
Yeah, it's just, guys, Riley Moss is, and now these are stats that I think are a little bit shady right now. They might not be all the way up to date, but at least what I've got in front of me says that he's been targeted 27 times and only allowed 12 receptions. He is just a guy who gets the ball thrown at him a ton because it is, you've got Pat Surtain on the other side, obviously, but more than that, in this game, I think we saw both of the Broncos cornerbacks give up some catches. And I think it was more attributable this game to Vance Joseph's game plan against the Eagles, which was, let Jalen Hurts try to beat you with his arm. Let Jalen Hurts do that. You keep the quarterback runs out of the game. I think they had 0 designed runs for Jalen Hurts, and he had 2 scrambles during the game. They had 9 called rushing plays for Saquon Barkley during the game, and that played exactly into the Broncos' hands, I believe. They had they allowed 17 points for all the terribleness that Riley Moss played with. They allowed 17 points to the Philadelphia Eagles, the Super Bowl winning offense. And yeah, all right. Now, Spotty, no notes on your Alex Singleton take. Like, no, we're in complete agreement. God, but it does give me a little bit of a licking my chops to see Dre Greenlaw in this defense. If that ever happens, we'll see.
Yeah,
but man, if it does,
running back out of the backfield, wheel route, touchdown. That's happened 3 times this year. Jonathan Taylor, Amarian Hampton, and Saquon Barkley. And Alex Singleton was nowhere close.
Yeah. Not even in the same ballpark.
Watching him just know that he can't keep up and just, it's got to stop.
It was like the camera had to zoom out just to get Singleton in the same frame and just at the edge of the screen. So you know that there is a guy chasing him. He's just not even close.
Yeah.
But, in the instant of like at halftime, looking back and even after the game, it was kind of like, our cornerbacks, but even Pat Surtain seemed to be getting beat. Like these guys are catching the balls. But you think about it and you go back and you look at the passing stats and everything. While they were catching the ball, they weren't really, except for the few times, getting many yards after they caught the ball. Our defenders were right there to stop them and bring them down. So, we didn't let them get any of that momentum going. It was interesting. Whatever was going on with Barkley here, whether he was hurt or not, but just interesting to see that he only ran the ball 6 times. I know that hurt them, but they still have so many other playmakers that you would think that losing Barkley wouldn't cause the whole team to crumble at the same time. So there's problems going on in Philadelphia.
And I'm not sure how, when Barkley got hurt. I don't know. I don't know if he was hurt going into the game at all. I do know he's not practicing this week, so he did get hurt, obviously, at some point. But I don't know if that had anything to contribute to, you called 8 rushes to him in the first half. You still got Saquon Barkley back there.
Still no rushes. They got 2 other guys. They got Will Shipley and they got Tank Bigsby that they traded for, just almost no rushes in, even no play. Even what he said, Jalen Hurts, no even plan rushes for him. So I count that as phooey. That's the Eagles are a run team that can throw the ball. So but before we get too deep into this, I do want to pinpoint a couple of things that I really like about the offense. And I mean, in this win, and everybody's been saying it. Does anybody feel like there's been a change in this team since we've been running the football? I mean,
yeah,
huge
change.
J.K. Dobbins, man, I love how patient of a runner he is. He sits, and some of those times I'm like, are you going to go? Are you going to go? Are you going to go? And then next thing you know, he puts his foot in the ground, and he's 10 yards upfield. I think he's averaging 5 yards a carry right now, which is weird. We're running the football, and we're doing it successfully. I know Jared hasn't watched too much of the game, but I'm just saying the old Javonte wouldn't have done that, even though the new Javonte might have. But
yeah.
I do love that, setting that up. And then the one other thing that I want to talk about that I do love, and there are analytics for this, okay? Quinyon Mitchell of the Philadelphia Eagles hasn't given up more than 43 yards in a singular game when he was the primary corner on a wide receiver, and Courtland Sutton went for 80-something on him. So then, and you can't do that by yourself. The quarterback has to be putting the ball in the right place, and the wide receiver has to be going for it. And I'm telling you, there's a couple of balls that went out to Courtland Sutton that they were a bullet. No, fourth quarter, I think Courtland Sutton turned his head, and the next thing you know, the ball was in his hand. Like the ground. Like the next thing he caught it, he went down to the ground. I think it's just all about momentum. So those are things I kind of want to pinpoint that I'd love to see from this team. Bo honestly just said, let's do this. Let's rip this thing out there. And I'm fine with a gunslinger. People are like, oh, check down this, all that. No, look, Bo has the ability to throw that ball out there. And if he throws a couple of picks, I'm actually kind of okay with that because most of everything else works out. So,
yeah. I like this. J.K. Dobbins reminds me of Le'Veon Bell. Yep. I would say that. And he was the guy that I did not like playing against because I knew that he was going to, eat us up every time. So to have somebody like that on our team, I'm good with that. Another highlight from this weekend, we were the only winners from the AFC West. I mean, we could do a whole show on what happened to the Chiefs there, who blew their own 14-point lead down against the Jaguars. I mean, I don't know how Trevor Lawrence fell and then got up and fell again and then got up and still ran.
I was watching it in real time and just my mouth was open. I was like, how is this happening?
He's down. Oh, that's it. He's up. Oh, he's down. Oh, that's it. Oh, he's up again. And he's still
how can he be up?
Not being touched. Dude, okay.
Mostly because he played the best drive he's ever, I feel like I've ever seen him play. That particular drive, drop dimes to Brian Thomas Jr. These are the things that normally happen to the Chiefs. Yeah. And then if we're talking about the FC West, the Chargers, whatever voodoo doll people have out there for the Chargers, they like poking holes in their offensive linemen and their running backs and I don't know what the Chargers did to be this cursed.
Yeah. But they're the Chargers, and whether through injuries or just their own self-destruction, they're going to Charger. And just to think about 2 weeks ago, we were saying, and I was very confident in this, and also saying, the Chargers had a stranglehold on the AFC West 3 weeks into the season. Yeah, I was like, this is already a bad spot to be in. And 2 weeks later, here we are going, we're tied, and we beat the Eagles. I don't see the Chargers beating the Eagles when they play them.
Not with that team.
No, not with that team.
So look, it's interesting to see what's happening, and all of a sudden, that's why I love football. 1 week you'd be like, we're screwed. 2 weeks later, you'd be like, we're back we are in the race. We are up top. We got this, and let's see what happens.
One last thing,
DeAndre. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and let's talk about this in just a wider context. Courtland Sutton has turned into a top 10 in the NFL wide receiver this year.
People are finally talking about it.
Yeah.
People are finally going out there and saying he is a true number one, and we have not been giving him the attention he deserves.
No, well, and he's got a quarterback who will just chuck it up to him and let him make plays, and he just does it. He does it against the best cornerbacks in the NFL. He's been doing it against Trent McDuffie for years. He just put belt to ass on Quinyon Mitchell. It's week in and week out, the consistency with this guy. And, at his kind of getting up in years for a wide receiver, so you give him that contract extension and you're kind of like, what's left? What are we really going to see? We're seeing it. We're seeing it right now. And he's getting paid, I think, like the 20th or 18th or something, best wide receiver. And he's definitely outplaying that contract right now. Big shout out to Courtland Sutton.
Demarius would be so proud.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. There's a lot of Demarius in Courtland. You can tell, and just the way he plays. And I think the reason that people just don't talk much about Courtland Sutton is because he doesn't draw attention to himself. He's not an Antonio Brown or any of these other diva wide receivers that have to be out there tweeting like, fine, I can ghost you too if you're not going to throw the ball. If you're going to ghost me on the field, I'll ghost you in real life.
They never say that. They say something like so esoteric, like
exactly. I can't
the enemy wears a smiling mask and holds a knife behind his back, and it's like, all right, okay, man,
who are you
cool.
talking? Yeah,
that's great.
That is so far from his personality, and I think that's why people just don't see him in the news, and so you don't talk about him much. But after this game, I don't know how many videos I saw people saying he's a true number one in the wide receiver, and this time we start saying it. And it's like we've been saying it for the better part of 10 years now, Yeah, this is a good comment from Sean. And in fact, October is Sean Payton's best month. His next best next month is November, then December, then September, in that order. So it's kind of, we're at the top now. He seems to get a little worse as the season goes along, right? We're hoping that doesn't be isn't the case this year, but he's holding true to it. First game in October, we go out there and win on the road. So beautiful to see from those guys. Okay, guys, let's start.
And it's because he tries and experiments with so much in September, and then he finally tweaks it in October, and that's why his record gets better from once the year goes on.
And then teams have to refigure him out again after the tweaks. Yep. Yeah, I could see that. Well, let's before we move on to week 6 officially, let's close out week 5 with some closing comments. So guys, final takeaways from this week's game. If you're the Broncos, how you feeling? What are you thinking? And what do you need to do from here? David, what you got, man?
Well, and we talked a little bit about it in the post game show. You know what I'm talking about.
Pre-post, yes.
Yeah, post. Anyway, we talked about it as like, okay, you saw the Broncos go out there and play convincingly well against the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that you're supposed to play convincingly well against. You're supposed to smash up that team, and they did. That's great. And then you don't play a consistent 4-quarter game against the Philadelphia Eagles, but you play well enough against the Philadelphia Eagles in a really tough spot to win that game. So you're building something now. So now it's just a question of how much do you keep building it? And we've been talking about it all off season. We've been saying the exact same thing. The development's not going to be linear. It just isn't. And so what kind of game do you see in this spot? Do you see the Broncos go out there and play, again, convincingly well against a bad team? Do you see them do just enough to win against a bad team in a weird spot, but maybe take a step back as far as consistency and building on what you thought you were going to see? Or do you see them just completely fall apart? And I just the Sean Payton of it all tells me I really don't think we're going to see option 3. But which of these 2 options do we see going forward now, going into kind of a weird week overseas in London?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Spotty, what do you think?
Obviously, when you beat what can be considered the best team in the NFL, I mean, a lot of analysts would probably say that the Eagles is either the Eagles or the Bills are the number 1 team in the NFL. You have to be excited. I think this is the kind of thing that can light a fire underneath a team like the Broncos are. They show that they have the gumption to stay in every single game. The Broncos are 6 seconds away from being 5-0. That 3-2 almost makes you feel it's like, well, the Broncos are a mediocre team. Like, people were talking about the Broncos were a mediocre team, and we played a healthy Chargers team and the Colts, who are ranked in the top 5 for a lot of analysts right now. Okay,
Who just hung 40 on the Raiders.
And so everybody was talking a lot of smack. The Broncos don't have it. I watched the guy, I'd watch a lot of gambling sites to like never take, the Broncos haven't shown that they can beat the big team yet. And they proved point positive by beating the Eagles that they have the ability to beat the better team right now. And I think that they should take this energy and go through. They have the ability to smash October. I understand we're talking about how Sean's record is great in the month of October. They have the ability with the teams that they're currently playing to smash October, and we might comfortably be sitting in a playoff spot at that point. And it's a wild thing to think about considering what we've gone through for the last 10 years.
I think PFF already has us at like a 62% chance to make the playoffs this year. We're in right now, Broncos country. If the season ended today, your Broncos would be the 6th seed, I believe.
Then ride this lightning. Take what we had against the Eagles and push us right into this playoffs.
Do it. Go. Like that's it. Go right now. Don't wait. Go. This is your chance. You have a huge opportunity to just pile wins up right now.
Because if we get together, it's going to be weird, man. If we play 4 freaking quarters.
We're unstoppable at that point. We are absolutely unstoppable. But look at this, guys. Yeah. Oh, and we can also talk about Tony Romo. Don't worry, guys. The Eagles never lose. They'll be just fine. Tony, get the out of here, dude. Shut up, man.
Nick Wright chose the Raiders to make the playoffs. Boo that man whenever you can.
Dude, that guy, talk about some of the most annoying, worse than Chris Collinsworth in my book, and that's saying something. But let's look at the next just upcoming slate of games. New York Jets, New York Giants, Dallas. You never know what kind of team you're going to get against them, and you're playing them at home. So obviously watch out for Javonte, who's going to be looking for a big game there. But if you can hold them, that's another win. The Texans, everyone said we were going to lose to the Texans at the beginning of the season. They're not looking that amazing this year either, right? So very winnable game there. Thursday night, I know Thursday nights are weird, but then you got the Raiders after that. So, man, if you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can go 4-1 over these next games at worst, I mean, holy crap, going into the game against Kansas City before your bye week, and then a bye week, and then the Washington Commanders, like this is setting up to be a very, very nice run considering we're already on a 2-game winning streak. So lots of things there, guys. A couple last comments before we go into the next week here. If I'm in the locker room, I'm trying to get my locker next to number 48 because he is going to continue to lead not only the special teams, but the whole team to the road to victory. I'm just saying, have not had any issues with Mitch Fabroni this year or the previous year or the year before that. So he's on a roll. The only takeaway, Broncos played a great game and beat the Eagles. Let's take the win to London and keep the momentum. Totally agreed, guys. So look, Broncos, exactly right. Carry this momentum forward. Believe in yourselves. Say, hey, we knew that we could beat any team in any situation. We just proved it. We got another ogre off our back. The whole, the Broncos can't win against teams with winning records and with playoff caliber, quarterbacks and stuff. Okay, we just shut everybody up, right? We got all of those problems out of our way. We've shown we can do it. Keep improving, right? Find ways to connect better. Put a whole 4 quarters together on both offense and defense, and see how far you guys can go. Because at that rate, I mean, it's kind of tough to look at any team and say, yeah, we're definitely going to lose to them. Like, I just don't see it at this point. So, at this point, guys, we are going to get ready to go full throttle against the Jets, as Keith says, and I like that. So before we do, one more time, guys, we beat the Eagles. We beat the Eagles on the road in a huge comeback. Congratulations to the Broncos. And now with that celebration out of the way, it is time to get to work. So halftime announcements here, guys. Don't forget the pre-game podcast, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure you go follow us and subscribe there so you can hear that. Game day. Yes, Andrew, this game day is no different. I don't care if the game starts at 7:15 in the morning. I will be live at 6:15 in the morning, 1 hour before kickoff for the tailgate talk. I do expect everybody here to be up early with me and logging in, so I'm not talking myself for an hour, but that's fine. I'll do that if I have to. I don't care. And then also a little special announcement. We're going to try that this week. I'm going to be live during the entirety of the game. Kind of decided, yep. Obviously, I can't show the game as I'm commenting on it, but we're just going to go live throughout the entirety of the game and see how that works. I know, David, you and I tried that a couple years ago at a bar. Didn't really work with the internet connection, but we're going to try it here again. And we're in London, special game. Let's see what happens. It should be a good one. So make sure you tune in Sunday for that. If you can't watch us or don't want to watch us, whatever, during the game, we are live at halftime as well. For every Broncos game, live at halftime for the halftime hash. So make sure you tune in for that. And then Monday nights at 8 p.m. Mountain Time, we're live with the post-game podcast, and every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we got this show, Bourbon Broncos and No BS. Make sure you're following us on all the different social media so you can see when we post other videos and other content throughout the week. And make sure you go sign up for free at broncosandbourbon.com. Everyone gets to sign up for free this year. It's going to be an experiment to add membership tiers to that website. I'll figure it out, though, and once I do, anybody who signs up in the 2025 season is going to be automatically upgraded to the next membership tier. We're also going to be doing some more giveaways later this year. Since it is our 10th anniversary here at Bourbon Broncos and OBS, and some of those will be involved with the website. So make sure you go on over and sign up. That might be one of the qualifying criteria to win something from a website prize that we give away or something like that. So tons of stuff going on here. We have blinked and we are into week 6 already. It feels like yesterday we were talking about the game against the Titans coming up, but the season is trucking along and I like where the Broncos are at. So with that being said, it is officially ding, ding, ding. Time for week 6 to commence, and the Broncos have a win in their rear view mirror. Time to look forward. We got the Jets. Cannot let this be a trap game, and it's going to be interesting. So, David, start with you, buddy. What are your initial thoughts? Oh, Spotty. No, Spotty, go for it, buddy.
Well, I was telling you stole my thunder because I was going to put the Admiral Akbar freaking meme up there. It's a trap. It is.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. I'm just saying it is a trap game. Okay, and I really hope that it's not. Like, I don't want to give the Jets their first victory. And the only reason I see it as a trap, there's a couple of different things that the Broncos need to pay attention to, okay? They are riding an emotional high from beating the number 1 team in the NFL, okay? 1. 2, they're going to travel overseas. We're going to be missing some parts, mostly Ben Powers in this particular game for the next couple months. So we're not running with the same offensive line for the first time in probably about 2 years. And then 3, everybody is absolutely just shitting on the Jets right now about how terrible the team and how terribly they're run right now. So I feel like they've got a little extra motivation after last week. So those are the 3 main reasons I see the Jets as a particular trap team. And I hope that we just crush them in the first 2 quarters to make sure that does not happen.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Exactly.
Here's where I am at least confident that that this won't fall into a trap game in terms of the Broncos won't be prepared for the Jets, that the Broncos will overlook the Jets. Let's say it that way. I think just the unique circumstances of like immediately getting on a plane after beating the Eagles and flying to London, it gives you just a little bit of a better chance to transition. Like you're on a 9-hour flight or whatever. So sure, you get to celebrate the game that you just won, break it all down, whoop it up, have a good time. But by the time you land in London, it's like, oh yeah, we're in London and we got business to take care of. And that business here is the New York Jets. That's the whole reason that we're here. It's, to me, that's at least a somewhat comforting factor, as is the fact that, I don't know, guys, maybe I'm wrong, And I just don't remember right now. But it feels like last year there were no trap games for the Denver Broncos. They lost a couple of games that maybe you say, oh, they should have won that game. But I can't think back and say, oh man, the Broncos were unprepared. The Broncos overlooked this team last year. I don't think that's the case, and I just don't think that's going to be the case this year either. I think they have. You hesitate to say championship mentality because that's way too far down the road to even talk about right now. But there is, I think, a mentality of we take this week to week. We are professionals who are doing a job, and our business is to go out there and win every week, to go 1-0 this week. And so, when we do that one week, that's great. But now we're on to the next week.
I want to get your guys' take on this because Sean brings up something that I was going to mention. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but especially Scotty G from, I think, 9 News, who works with Mike Kliss there. They're out in the town, obviously staying in the same town that the Broncos are staying in. And they've mentioned several times in their videos how quiet and boring it is there. They're hours outside of London. Sean Payton even addressed no sightseeing. It's normal work days as always, but he took them hours out of London so that there wasn't.
There's no sights to see
in the most quiet, quaint. Like everyone there is just minding their own business. Like the Denver Broncos are in town. They're just a small little cottage.
I believe we call it a hamlet when it's a small. It's a hamlet in London.
It's more of a hamlet.
For all the people who may not know about England, the Broncos will still have access to plenty of alcohol. No matter where they are in England, you will be able to get beer or whiskey. But I will tell you this, outside of that, there's probably only sheep and gently rolling hills where they are. So, there's just not a whole lot that they can do other than get ready for the Jets.
Yeah. Sean, Sean, we are practicing in London all week. They flew out to London immediately after the game to try and get that schedule readjusted. So there's no jet lag or anything like that. But there's as minimal distractions as possible. Sean Payton made sure of that. And so it's kind of funny to see these media guys walking around going, I'm bored. Like it's not even worth for us driving to London because we're so far away from it right now.
I do want to bring up one thing about traveling to London that we haven't talked about yet, which is that one Denver Broncos player did not travel to London and went on IR this week, starting guard Ben Powers, which that's a big loss. And so we're gonna have to have that next man up mentality with 𝐓𝐴𝐿𝐥𝐿 in there, I think, going in probably as their starting left guard now. And then we'll just have to see. But going into a week where you've got Quinnen Williams lining up against you, that's something to watch for sure.
Yeah. I mean, Scotty, are you concerned at all about 𝐓𝐴𝐿𝐥𝐿 going out there? I mean, we've seen him, go out there as, an eligible receiver a number of times. And unfortunately, we're not going to hear number 63 reports as eligible probably much anymore for the time being. But what are your thoughts on that? I mean, what impact is it going to have on the offensive line?
Continuity. That's the one thing that I can really think that's going to be an issue. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, the Broncos starters playing together was the longest streak in the NFL. And we know how powerful of a group that's been. I'm not actually super concerned about 𝐓𝐴𝐿𝐥𝐿, and that might be because there's not a lot of tape on him. And that might benefit us in this first game. When there's not a lot of tape on a player, you don't know what their tells are. You don't know what mistakes that they tend to make. So is it a jab step? So there's a lot of experimenting that's going to have to be made by the Jets. Not to get into too much of our content for the post game or the pregame, but there's a big matchup when it comes to for the first three. So when Quinn, Wattenberg, and 𝐓𝐴𝐿𝐥𝐿 have Quinnen Williams might be one of the best defensive tackles in the league. He hasn't been playing well this year so far, at least as a Jets player. So not to give him too much of a extra advantage though when you got someone who hasn't really played a whole lot. But I'm actually more concerned about what's going to happen when we go jumbo, because like you were saying, 𝐓𝐴𝐿𝐥𝐿 was coming in when we were going large. So is that going to be Crum? Is that going to be
probably?
So
yep. And so next man up, And an offensive line is an interesting one because the dynamic of those players, they really do truly operate as one unit. They have to be on the same page. They have to understand what everybody else on that line is doing for them to do their part well. And so you see teams struggle when there's a lot of people cycling out of the offensive line, or if it's a newer offensive line. So whenever you lose somebody in that, it definitely is a cause for concern, right? We're going to have to wait and see how they adjust and stuff. But the good thing is what we've seen from the Sean Payton team, especially last year and probably going more into this year, is when those backups are called on to step up, more often than not, they're earning their keep on the field, right? And that's just a testament to what Sean Payton has built and the commitment that these guys have. So Key says, yeah, Crumb is large. So large is good. That's phase one. You want to be large, but you got to be able to move and block well and everything like that. So we're going to have to wait and see how these guys do. Ken says Forsyth may play at guard, may keep Palcho in as a swing tackle and tight end. We'll have to see how they do that, but I'm sure that they're going to get creative and they have ideas already set for, how to adjust.
It might be a plus. The backups have been the same, right? Like we talk about,
there's continuity at least there.
Yeah, we're talking about almost the same 9 guys the last 2 years. So I guess that is probably a plus.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, and and I wanted to address this, Roy, specifically because I have to defend Frank Crumb just a little bit. I understand Frank Crumb is not your Bo ideal as far as the tape right now as a professional. I think his second preseason was better than his first one. But right now, that is a guy as a developmental tackle who has like all the size and strength traits that you could ever want in the position. And it's now just a question of coaching him up. And yeah, you may not be able to do it, but he's an undrafted free agent in his second year with top 10 percentile measurables or something at tackle. And so that's why he's on the team right now. They still think they can get something out of him. And if you end up cutting him loose at another point, fine. But I wouldn't make the argument that he's taking up a roster spot that somebody else is desperately we desperately need a different player in a different spot that is available. And we're just using up a spot on Frank Crumb instead.
Was it 3 teams? I think we had to sign him to the actual roster this year.
Yeah,
3 teams wanted him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying this is the exact same situation, but the Philadelphia Eagles held on to Jordan Mailata for a couple of years before they found out that he was a beast of a left tackle. So I think that's the kind of hope that a team has, because then you can pay him dirt.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I agree.
So,
Keith, I remember Bowles was that guy who needed development. You remember that, guys? You remember that? Oh,
I do remember that.
Seems like
what a
way long ago.
Now his career.
The name Garrett Holds was used on this show more times than I'm comfortable with.
So many times. And look, I'll eat my words. He turned around, right? So beautiful to see. One thing that Spotty, you mentioned early on in the show that I'm going to continue to mention as well until it gets cleaned up, the penalties. 12 penalties for 121 yards. I mean, you can't constantly blame the reffing. And not to say that you were doing that or anything, but just 3 weeks in a row now, we've had a ton of penalties. First couple weeks, okay, maybe it was the refs. This one too, it wasn't great, but at the end of the day, you're still racking up a lot of pre-snap penalties, right? Things that you've got to find a way to clean up because, look, the Jets, they're 0-5, but they are still an NFL team. And somebody else said earlier, they're going to win eventually this season. We can't let it be against us. And so you start piling on these penalties, man, you're putting yourself in a bad situation. You're killing drives. You're allowing the other team to get out there, get momentum, feel good, feel like they have a chance. Because here's the thing, guys. Now that the Broncos beat the Eagles, the target is square on our backs. Teams know that they had better bring their A game against the Broncos to have a chance against us. And if we don't go out there and match our own A game, we could be in a situation, right? I don't see that happening this week, but either way, this penalty problem is going to bite us eventually. If it hasn't already, it's going to bite us again if we don't clean this up.
Yeah, for sure.
They may be 0-5, but they put up some points. I mean, it's not like it's not like this current iteration of the Cincinnati Bengals, right? Even with Justin Fields, I mean, they scored 32, 10 against Buffalo, 21 Miami, 22 Dallas. Now, these aren't exactly the greatest defenses in the league. I'm definitely going to mention that right now, but still, this team, they're playing the way they should against other porous defenses. So again, this can't be a looking past kind of situation. We have to pin our ears back and get to the quarterback, and Lord have mercy, don't let him get out of the pocket.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I am really, I'll bet Nick Benito's excited to see Justin Fields again, because I'll tell you what, isn't that like, I feel like that's the most it's the most easily I can pinpoint any player's breakout game. As much as any game any player I can think of is that Nick Benito game against the Chicago Bears in the 2022 season.
2 or 3. Yeah.
I think it was 2. I think that was Hackett was still coaching that year. Yeah, you're right. Well, and like it was the only good thing that happened in that early part of the season. Anyway, ever since then, he has just been on in stellar trajectory. He has 7 sacks this year already. He is I think he has a 30% pressure rate or something like that. It's just absurd, and we're seeing something special. We could have the next defensive player of the year on our hands, and I want to remind everybody that he's getting paid $25 million a year when pass rushers who are doing much less than him this year are making 40.
Yeah.
I'm glad you just brought that up, David, because obviously Benito fan right here. Oh, yeah. But I'm almost a little annoyed with the talk because right now they're like, Benito, 7 sacks through 5 games, on track for 24, guys. I want, as a Broncos fan, I want you guys to breathe in, breathe out, and understand that when pass rushers go on that kind of streak, then people have already taken notice, okay? People will then take notice. Aaron Donald was on track to have the record for most sacks in the year, and then he fell off pace, mostly because he started seeing double and triple teams in a lot more games. Benito is getting to that point. If we're not going to see this week, he's getting to that point where he's going to start to see more double and triple teams in every game, okay? So when we talk about all of the crazy stats and all his pace, I mean, even the year that Von Miller set the 18.5 sack record for us, he was on pace for to break the NFL record. He's going to have to work for it. Even against these porous teams, he's going to get chipped by tight ends and chipped by running backs. But then, of course, for this particular Broncos defense is really good for literally everybody else that's out there.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, that's exactly what I was going to say.
I'm not saying someone's not going to get to him, but they're probably going to start scheming when he's getting 2 and 3 people looking after him. So I'm just take it back when it comes to the sack record. The record is set. If some Michael Strahan, I believe tied by J.J. Watt. There's a reason that it's been very hard to attain over the last couple of decades.
Yeah. But the good thing for the Broncos, and part of what was so good about, especially the Broncos Super Bowl run year, you can double team, you can triple team Von Miller, but then you got DeMarcus Ware on the other side. And I'm not saying that Bonito is Von Miller. I'm not saying Cooper is DeMarcus Ware, but you have these guys that it's not like a team where they have one elite pass rusher and then no other pass rush. We got Zach Allen. We got John Franklin Myers. We got Jonathan Cooper, right? These guys are insanely good as well. So you start doubling up. Yeah, you start doubling up on Nick Benito. Okay, that's fine. You're going to leave more space and opportunities for some of these other guys. So like what you're saying, Spotty, someone's going to get to him. And it's almost like, what do you do if you're the opposing defense? Like, you can't double team both Cooper and Bonito because you got all these other players that are going to be able to get through.
I'm about it. I'm 100% about it.
Some of these advanced metrics are showing that Jonathan Cooper is having one of the best pass rushing seasons of any player in the NFL. He's like a top 15 player at that position, and he'd probably have like 4 or 5 more sacks if it wasn't that he played on the same team as Nick Bonito. So yeah, there'll be plenty of other opportunities if they have to start shading attention. I don't know if they can do it. You guys were talking about how much depth they have there. Man, boy, let's talk about one player that guys, again, we may not get back this week. I don't know. I haven't heard a thing about it, whether he traveled to London with the team or not. But it was Malcolm Roach, who was eligible to come off IR last week. We understand why he didn't, because it's a short week on the going into a East Coast road game. But now you kind of have a weird situation again where you're flying all the way to London. What does that do with an injured player and how it affects his practice status? So we may not see him again this week against Breece Hall and the New York Jets. But just another player that you would love to see get this defense back in so they could maybe level up even a little further. Yeah.
I'm trying to look here to see if I can see if Malcolm Roach traveled.
Right.
I'm not expecting Dre to at least be playing. That's for sure.
I haven't seen it. I could see
we'll have to
sacks with what we were just talking about. Like we don't have a whole lot of time. I know that for left on this. But Talanoa Hufanga has been monster.
He's been one of the. I'm going to say he's one of the best free agent acquisitions we've gotten in I don't know how long.
Oh man, TJ Ward-esque. Okay, yeah. I'm just saying.
Palomalo hair.
Oh man, the man. I'm like, where the hell did the guy even come from on the play? He's running across the other side of the field. Like I'm a big Hufanga fan right now.
Yeah.
Mentioning these comments, I can't forget to mention these guys. McMillan, who got a sack in the fourth quarter as well. Don't forget about Jonah Ellis. But then you add Malcolm Roach back in, and please, if he is able to get healthy, Drake Greenlaw in the mix. This defense can get better. I don't know how else to imagine that other than just be able to say it. This defense can get better. And especially if Malcolm Roach is able to come back and just provide his presence on the field too. This is huge for these guys. VJ also brings 5 a lot, just as base pressure. That leaves one-on-ones without max protect. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to Hufanga, if he had caught that interception, that batted pass he had, my Hufanga jersey would be halfway here already. Because I'm also like, dude, this guy, and he's not, very vocal about anything either. He just gets his job done. And so, when it comes to the backfield, the pass rush, VJ has a ton of talent on his hand, and he's deploying them really, really well in my book.
I watched a breakdown of the McMillan sack. If Denver's, I forget, it's like a Denver Sports highlight on Instagram. Kev Dan, I think I sent it to you. The absolute play is beautiful. I would say if you guys get a chance, take a look at it, because they disguise a cover 3 looking like cover 0, and instead of blitzing everybody who you think's going to blitz, like Jonathan Cooper and Bonito, they drop those guys back into coverage and send McMillan, Hufanga, Cooper, and Jonathan Allen and the Eagles offensive line had no idea what was going on, which led to McMillan getting around the edge to get to Hurts. VJ, bro, chef's kiss.
Yeah, chef's kiss. I love it. Sean says, I feel like Ken is secretly Sean Payton in disguise. I would say maybe, but I've met Ken in person at the tailgate, so I can confirm that he did not, in fact, look like or sound like Sean Payton. If anything, Sean, I'm going to say that it's possible you're Sean Payton in disguise, the same name and everything. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Anyway, we have some closing thoughts here coming up soon, guys. So don't go away quite yet. But first, remember, head on over to broncosandbourbon.com. Sign up for free today. Don't forget, we're going to be live during the game this Sunday. We're starting 1 hour before kickoff and then throughout the entirety of the game. So come on over. I'll be answering comments and chatting with you guys during the game as well. It's not just going to be talking and calling out the plays. I want to be able to hang out with you all and talk about it together. So if you're up early watching the game, join me over here live. We might be getting somebody like Ken. I know some other people said in the comments, either trying to stream from the game. Ken is going to try to send us some video and stuff that we can show what those guys and the fans over there are experiencing. So great stuff coming up for the Broncos. It's just time for them to get to work and take care of the Jets, take care of the first threat in front of them, and just build off of all the positive that they have going on here for sure. So tons of great stuff, guys. Make sure you're following us and definitely appreciate you tuning in. But that being said, let's do some closing thoughts. David, we'll start with you, buddy. Jets are 0-5, but that does not mean it's an automatic win for the Broncos. What do you take? What do you have, bud?
No, but I think we're going to see a similar game plan on defense this week to what we saw last week against Philadelphia, in that we're going to try and contain the run game as much as possible, especially the quarterback run game. And we're going to say to Justin Fields, hey, beat us with your arm today. And I don't think it's going to work. I think you may see, Spotty, you were just talking about it, those unique, and not even pressures, because they only rushed 4 on that play that you're talking about. But it was just not the 4 that the Eagles were expecting in any way, shape, or form to come. And it, like you said, confused the hell out of them. That is what I think could be in store for this Jets team a little bit more if they are successful in shutting down that run game like they were against the Eagles. I think this sets up really well to have the Broncos come out of this game with another win. But yeah, you just got to keep playing the way you can play and have proven the last couple of weeks that you can play.
Yep. I like it. Spotty, what you got for us?
Just small little rant here, I guess that I'm going to say. At this point of the season, again, I want to tip my cap to Vance Joseph. It feels like that since that dreaded game against the Dolphins, which was probably about 2 years ago, the Broncos.
I don't remember.
The Broncos and the Dolphins have done a quick, 100%, 180. They've done a 180. The trajectory of the team since then is crazy. But anyways, there are lapses at times in the defense, and that's difficult, right? Because in this NFL, there are going to always be lapses, whether you're attacking the number 2 wide receiver and whether you're attacking the linebacker. But the bend, don't break mentality that Vance has had over the last 2 years has been incredible. And it's what he's doing is really highlighting the talent that we have on the team, like the Nick Bonitos, the Jonathan Coopers, and then, of course, Jonah Ellis, who I know that we were talking about, Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito, who's also secretly having a super great season for a guy who plays 30% of the snaps. So yeah. Vance Joseph is taking a whole lot with the talent that he has, of course, is also great talent, and he's doing even more with it. I'm afraid to say that this may be the last year that we have Vance Joseph as our defensive coordinator. So I really hope that we can kind of continue this wave while we have him, and then potentially after that. So again, Vance, what an incredible job. I definitely would say I'm one of those people who was harping on you hard after that Dolphins game, and he's made the rest of us eat our words since then.
Yep, he really has. I know I was one of the ones calling for him. I was like, you can't play a game like that and then expect to keep your job. But he's made me eat my words, and I'll admit it. I will admit it all day. And I do agree he's on to a head coaching spot, if not this year. I think we were just lucky this year that there weren't many options to begin with. Otherwise, he may not be here right now. But especially after doing this again, he's going to get another chance at a head coaching job. And I wish him the best of luck, except for when we play him. But, we'll see. And it'll just be up to Sean Payton and company to find another, coordinator come in there and do as well as Vance Joseph has been doing. So good stuff. Sean says, what if I was actually Mitch Fabroni this whole time? Would not be surprised. Would not be. And I would love it.
Go with us.
Yeah. Dude, if you're Mitch Fabroni, I've been trying to get a hold of you for a while now, and you keep ignoring my messages. So how dare you, Mitch, Sean, Cohen, Fabroni? And also you can see Spotty's nose hairs, but more importantly, you can see my gray hairs here. So that's probably a bigger issue there. But look, lots of comments of score predictions coming in. Lots of hype and big expectations for the Broncos. So, guys, make sure you show up Sunday for the pregame show, the Tailgate Talk show, where we're doing the score prediction challenge. If you guess the Broncos to win and you guess the score correctly, you'll be winning a Broncos jersey on us. So make sure you tune in so you can post your official score prediction and get entered for that winning should the Broncos win as well. But look, guys, for me, it's just a matter of, especially for this game, the Broncos need to do the little things right. Go out there, play a smart game. You don't have to win by 40 or 50 points. You know, a 28-3 win like we saw against the Bengals is dominant enough. You're not doing anything stupid, prevent people from getting hurt, and just play a smart, sound game that's going to help you build the fundamentals even more so for the next game after that, right? It's just about making those improvements, but you've got to clean up the penalties, right? You've got to, the offensive line, I have faith in 𝐁𝐫𝐤𝐿, but they've got to go out there and put it together. So I'm just hoping they're not out there right now having too much fun, right? Enjoy England a little bit, but at the same time, get ready for work. So with that being said, guys, look, I'll see you on Sunday morning, bright and early. I might make some beans on toast just for fun. I'm not kidding. I don't know how the English... Yeah, no, I don't know how the English survive out there because
war rations. That's how they survived.
Yeah, maybe I'll make a big American breakfast with bacon and eggs and more bacon and maybe some bacon on the side. We'll see, but got to fuel up if I'm going to be live with you guys for the entirety of the game. But make sure you guys are checking out the pregame podcast as well, coming up later this week. Spotty, my man, it's been awesome having you on the show as always, dude. Good talking to you and good talking Broncos.
Yeah, buddy.
Awesome. So, and for everybody in the comments, thank you for tuning in. You guys are fantastic. With that being said, man, oh man, I'm going to stop talking here. I got nothing left to say other than end this show as we always do on a very strong Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Take care, everyone, and we will see you Sunday.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sip and go, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go.